What's going on? We're back again for another foundational marketing mini course video. It's been a couple months, so I apologize for the wait, but Rome wasn't built in a day. So today we're talking about on-page SEO. And if you've followed along with this course so far, then you've surely seen some good results. But it's going to be this on-page SEO stuff that takes you to the next level. Now there's four main things we're going to be talking about today. And if you haven't heard of these things, you might want to pause the video and just do a quick Google search each time I state one of them and just read about it for like 2 minutes. Because if you have a little background knowledge, this will all make a lot more sense. But I'm going to do my best to explain it as I go. So the four things we're going to be covering are title tags, headings, image alt tags, and URLs. So pause right now, go Google those things. Make sure you use the term SEO in your search and you'll pop up with like 1 million search results. Okay, today I'm going to be showing you an example of a remodeling company. So this is going to be, SEO for a remodeling company or a construction company. And I'm going to show you some examples, but these principles that I talk about can apply to any local service business. And if you have specific questions about your type of business, put your question in the comment. If you want to know what I would call your title tag or your heading, just ask. I'll gladly tell you. This stuff is not rocket science, but it is critically important. The vast majority of websites out there do not do this correctly. A matter of fact, a lot of them don't do this at all. And it's very detrimental. And I've messed with this stuff before and seen results within a couple of days. So that by results, I mean my website was showing up higher on the Google search, which is what SEO is all about. SEO for us at Adapt Digital Solutions is our bread and butter. It's what we do every single month for our clients. And the things I'm about to show you are some of the very first things that we look at and we adjust, because these are the things that can make a gigantic impact. And if you don't have these things set up correctly, then other things might be wasted effort. All right, so let's dive right into it. We're going to start out by doing a Google search here. Okay, so look at that. Google opened itself up. How nice of that. All right, so we are going to do remodeling company near me, just as an example, and we're going to start here looking at title tags. So scroll down a little bit. Now, okay, these blue words you see here are the title tags. So when you search for something online, the description or the heading of your website link is called the title tag. And all of we're looking at a bunch of lead reselling companies right here: Thumbtack, Houzz, Yelp Twice. These guys, pay attention to what they do. The 10 best contractors in Coeur d'Alene, they're naming this on purpose. Somebody set this name here. Google didn't just make it up. Let's find an actual company. Okay, here's my company right here. Remodeling General Contractor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And if this didn't, get cut off right here, it would say Kyle Construction, because that's the name of the company. But these words right up here are the important part. Remodeling General Contractor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is my location. Remodeling General Contractor is what we do, what we are. And the reason I chose these words is because a lot of people will type in remodeling, they'll type in remodeling contractor, they'll type in general contractor. So I'm covering a lot of different keywords here with one title tag. Now let's go into my website and look at where I set this up. So I'm showing you an example with WordPress. WordPress is by far the most common website platform. If you're using a different platform, you're going to have to figure out on your own how to set your title tag. But for me, I use WordPress and I use a plugin called SEO Press. Another popular plugin that's free to use is called Yoast SEO, and I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. You can download it for free and use it almost the same way as you're going to be using SEO Press here. I like this plugin better. I pay for it and I think it's well worth the money, but Yoast will be perfectly okay for this application. So once I'm in my dashboard, I'm going to go to Pages, which is going to show me a list of all the pages that I have. And I'm going to find my home page. There it is. And I'm going to go to Quick Edit. Now here is, see this little thing says SEO, the title tag is right here. Recognize that? That's exactly what we saw here in the search results. Oops. That's exactly what we saw here in the search results. And I can tell you from experience that I've experimented with all different kinds of title tags. I'm near a city called Hayden, Idaho, and I've changed Coeur d'Alene in this title tag to Hayden, and within probably the same day, I started showing up for searches in Hayden. Now that's why this is important, because if you don't set this, a lot of people will just have like, it'll say home or something. It won't be descriptive at all. Let me see if I could find one here. Now it usually won't be on the first page of Google because people on the first page know what they're doing. See, this one just says Power Home Remodeling, so that's the name of their business, but since they have the word remodeling here, they're going to show up a little bit better. Let's see what else we got up here. Not surprising. Let's check out the 5th page and see what we find. Here's one, construction company, that's okay. Granite Construction, they have construction in the name, but they don't have anything remodeling related, so that's why they didn't show up for this search. What else we got here? We got a lot of different title tags. And you notice the further down I get, the less relevant they seem. That's because Google's extremely good at showing you the most relevant search results. So we got, that's weird, we've got home remodeling Portland. I'm not in Portland, but okay. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. When you have a site, you want to use these title tags. And for the home page, which is going to be your most powerful page when it comes to showing up on Google, you want to say exactly what you do and where you do it. And you want to use the keywords that people are typing in most frequently. There was another time when I changed this to bathroom remodeling contractor, and I got a lot more bathroom jobs. That's how this stuff works. You know, I'm showing up on the first page of Google, so if I change some of this stuff, Google's gonna get the message and change what it shows me for. And that's what this is all about. You know, Google wants to show people the most relevant search results. What we're doing when we're doing SEO is we're helping Google do its job. Google's very, very good at understanding who is the most relevant choice. And title tags is one of the main things that they look at. Next thing I'm going to talk about is URLs. So up here at the top is our URL, so kyleconstruction.com. And that's just the name of our business. We've had this URL for like 20 years or something, so there's no changing that now. But a lot of people will do like Coeur d'Alene remodeling, or they'll put some of these keywords that people type in into their URL, which can be a good idea, but you don't want to try too hard to game the system here. 10 years ago, it was a lot easier to game the system, but Google got better at identifying when people are trying to game the system, and they will not reward you for that, because Google wants to show people the absolute best search results, not necessarily the most optimized search results. So remember, the key to all of this is, instead of trying to game the system, try to make the most valuable website possible for your customers. And if you do a really good job at that, Google will reward you by showing you higher in the search results. That doesn't mean you shouldn't pay attention to tactics like I'm showing you now, but notice that when somebody sees my website and they see remodeling general contractor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, they see exactly what I do and where I do it. So that's providing them with a good experience because that's what they're looking for. If it didn't have my location here, then they would understand that I'm a remodeling contractor, but they wouldn't understand yet that I do it in their area. So they would be wondering that. They'd be like, am I in the right place? Is this the right website? Is this person actually in my city or not? We want them to confirm that as soon as possible. Let's look at another page here. Let's look at home additions. So it's very similar. Home additions contractor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. If somebody's searching for a home addition, Google might show them this page because it's optimized for that keyword. Now you'll notice I've got a bunch of pages on my site. I have pages for most of the major types of project we do, and that is very much on purpose. You know, home renovations, kitchen remodeling. There's bathroom remodeling somewhere on here. Here we go. Bathroom remodeling, basement remodeling. These are all projects that we commonly do, so I have a page about each one, and each one has a title tag that is specific to that page. Each one also has a URL that is specific to that page. Whoops, you can't see it here. I have to go to edit to see the URL. So here it is up here, basement remodeling page. The URL is kyleconstruction.com/basement-remodeling. Very, very simple. We want the URL to match what the page is about, and you want to use it to target the most relevant keyword, which is basement remodeling, if somebody's searching for basement remodel. So you just, it's a lot of this is super common sense. If you just keep in mind that you're building this for somebody, you're building this for your customer, you want to make it as easy and clear to them that they're in the right place. So next, let's talk about headings. So let's go look at this page. Now, let's quickly recap. We've got the URL is kyleconstruction.com/basement-remodeling. The title tag is basement remodeling contractor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And now the heading, which is the largest text on here, it's called an H1 tag. If I right click this and click on inspect, we're gonna see these words right here, H1 class. That means heading 1. That Google looks at the heading 1 to learn more about what this page is about, because typically that's the biggest text on the page. And Google's trying to look at this and understand it like a person does. So it shouldn't be a surprise that the heading is basement remodeling. And there's a subheading here, which is an H2 that says general contractor. But the important part is that it says basement remodeling. I could even put basement remodeling in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. If I was working on a plumber, working on water heaters, I could, if this page was about that, I'd say water heater installation and repair, and I can add my city in there if I want. I didn't because it's already in the title tag, and we're already ranking really well for this stuff, so there's no reason to over optimize it. Now, over optimization is what Google calls it when you try too hard. Google does not want people gaming the system. They want people being honest and being the best search results. So the fact that we're on page 1 and we're ranking in number 1 for most of these things means that Google thinks that we are the best search result. And we do that by making this site as good as we can for the people that visit it. It's not a very complicated website. We've got plenty of information here explaining how our services work, who we are, and all these big words here are headings. So pay attention to what's in your headings, because Google's looking at your headings to figure out what your website is about. And if you don't have any headings that clearly state what you do and where you do it, then you're missing out big time. Google's looking at your site and it's like, well, I don't really know what these guys do, but this other company over here is more clear, so we're going to show them instead. Here's my homepage, General Contractor, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Super simple. The subheading, remodeling, additions, and custom homes. All you got to do is remember to make sure these things are set up correctly. It's not complicated how to set them up. You just need a checklist of all the things that you need to mark off and make sure are set up correctly. And we'll probably end up creating a checklist that you can download, so look for that in the description of this video as well. If it's not there, then check out our website. I'm sure it's on there somewhere. But you'll be able to download a checklist so you can go through and make sure that you don't miss anything. The last thing we're going to talk about is called image alt tags. So this one isn't as important, but when you have a bazillion images on your website, then you might as well take advantage of this. Let's see, where is the alt tag here? All right, come on, computer. Oh man, my computer's really struggling right now. Okay, here we go. So the title and the alt tag is right here. If you right click on a picture and click inspect, you're gonna see the title and the alt tag. And notice this picture was of basement remodel. It's right over the basement remodel heading, and the button below it goes to the basement remodeling page. And the picture's alt tag is basement remodeling. So by putting these keywords in here, you're giving Google another signal of what your website is about. And this alone isn't going to make a huge difference. But when you set the alt tag on every single picture on your website, and you do it in a smart way, because an alt tag is what somebody sees if they can't see the picture. Like if somebody's blind and they're looking at your site, your alt tag will be read to them and then they'll understand. So your alt tag really should just describe what's in the picture. And even basement remodeling, the way I have it here, isn't really descriptive enough. If I wanted to optimize this further, I could explain exactly what was in the picture. Let's take a look at what's in the picture. So I would just say, it's a basement room with fresh painted walls, tan carpet, white baseboard, and new can lights. Something like that. Very descriptive. Now Google's getting all of these additional keywords to understand what this picture is about, because Google's not very good at understanding pictures compared to words. That's why all the things we're talking about right now are about words. So those are the four main things. Honestly, if you can get your title tags and your headings correct, you will very likely see improved results in a matter of days. If you can get all of the things on your site lined up correctly, then you might just quadruple the amount of phone calls you're getting, or start getting some calls if you're not getting any right now. If you're not a remodeling company, you're a plumber, the same principles apply to you. Plumbing contractor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, roofing contractor in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but if you don't have any of this stuff set up, you might as well, no one's ever going to find your website. So that's just the way it is. The last thing I'm going to say is that let's take a look back at the search results here. So let's go to page 1. Now notice at the top we've got ads, but below that we've got this Google Maps box. And here's my company right here at the top. The reason we're here at the top is because of what's on my website. All of these changes that I talked about will help your Google listing rank up here at the top. Now I'm in the very top. I'm number 1 out of 3 here, but if we click view all, we're going to see that there are many contractors in my area, dozens of them. And these pages, there's 10 plus pages of this, and none of these guys are showing up in the top 3 like I am and these 2 other companies. So showing up in the top 3 puts us right in people's faces, and it's even better than showing up in down here amongst all these lead reselling scam companies. Showing up here is way better because we've got our reviews showing, 20 years in business. It shows where we are. It's got our phone number. People can click on this and read our reviews. Like, There's a ton of information here, and Google puts it front and center in people's faces, which makes it really, really good to show up here. So before you make any changes, just do a couple searches like I did. If you're using Chrome, you click on these little dots in the top right and you click New Incognito Window, and that's going to open a new window that won't be tied to your Google account, because Google knows who you are and they're going to try to show you search results that are more relevant to you. So if you go to your website all the time, Google's going to show you your own website and you're going to think, oh man, like I'm ranking super well. Like, let's see if this changes. Nope, see, I'm still here in the top, but that's just because I'm really good at this, and that I've had this stuff set up correctly for a really long time. But that's what you want to do. You want to do an incognito search, check and see where you are in Google Maps. You know, if you're not here in the top 3, click on View All, scroll down, find where you are, and write down where that location is. And then also find yourself in the regular search results. Like I'm number, it looks like 7 or so down here, underneath all these lead reselling companies. So just note what those things are and then make these changes, and a week later go back and check to see what the improvements were. And you can test different things. You know, if I change it to kitchen remodeling and I show up number on page 2 for kitchen remodeling, that's not going to do me a lot of good because most people never make it to page 2. So I might try bathroom remodeling, and I might find that if I use that in my title tags and my headings, that I show up number 1 on page 1 for bathrooms, which is going to get me a lot more phone calls than being on page 2 for something else. So there's a lot of things you can do with this. I hope that's helpful. There's a whole bunch of other videos in this mini course. If you haven't watched those, definitely go back and review those. We have a free Facebook group that you can join, discuss these things. We'll help you along. Right now the group's pretty small, so you can get pretty much exclusive access to me and my team, and we'll do everything we can to help you out. Lastly, if you want to be alerted when I release the next video, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you on the next one.